see if we actually get a signal. There we go. Looks like we are live and not Memorex. Welcome to the Demon's Tea Room. Give everybody a chance to come in, sit down, grab a drink, grab a table. Let's get ready to talk about some New Orleans love. Give everybody a chance to come on in. My brother Daniel, Rachel, welcome guys. Welcome. What's up? Another day in paradise. Welcome, Melissa. Well, hello. Mark, welcome. Marco in the house. Vicky, welcome guys. Come in, grab a table, grab a drink. It's your favorite drink. Doesn't have to be leaded, can be leaded. It's up to you. It is the pandemic, so hey, daytime drinking is a thing. Larry, welcome y'all. Morgan, welcome. The great state of Maryland and Ohio. It's going good here. It's a beautiful, beautiful day out. Little on the chilly side. Like I like to say, it's kind of hoodie weather, but it's not too bad. Annie Marie, welcome guys. It is a pretty day here in New Orleans. Catalina, welcome. Kind of messed up if you think about it. The pandemic had to hit when we have gorgeous, beautiful weather, not when, it's 20 degrees outside or 300 degrees outside. No, it's when you want to go out and do stuff. Kristen, welcome. We're going to get started here in just a second. Welcome, Linda. All right, y'all. From rainy Florida. Welcome, Emily. Skylar, welcome guys, welcome. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Probably not going to be a long episode today, but we'll get into it and see where we go. I, being the brainchild that I am, forgot to charge the war clock, so we don't have a war clock, so we're just going to swing it, and we'll go as where we go. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Demon's Tea Room, not your grandmother's cup of tea. For our new visitors here to the tea room, let me introduce myself. My name is Cedric. I'm going to be your host today in the Demon's Tea Room. I am the lead investigator and founding member of New Orleans Paranormal Explorers. The first letters of that together, it spells NOPE. We're the official NOPE team, and we do paranormal investigations all across the country when there's not a pandemic. I am also a full-time tour guide here in the city of New Orleans with Haunted History Tours. Job I truly love and adore. And this is the Demon's Tea Room, where we talk about all things paranormal, New Orleans, nerd, anything like that. There's Mrs. Jennifer Johnson, one of our other tour guides at Haunted Histories. Miss you. All right, guys. So today, before we get started, our first public service announcement coming from the pandemic. Remember your mental health, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that in mind. Especially, one thing I'd like to point out, I know people have joked about it in memes and that sort of things. Welcome, Joshua. Welcome, Darcy. Is your extroverts out there. All right? I know people joke about it. Being one, I can say it's a real thing. Being locked up, being locked down, for extroverts who feed and enjoy that interaction with people out there, not being able to do it is really going to affect them. So, our extroverts out there, guys, know you will get through it. For our introverts, they're SOs, they're friends of the extroverts. Take care of them. Check on them. Make sure they're all right. Okay? It is a thing. And the longer we are in lockdown, the worse it's going to get. And let's face it, boys and girls, even if they were to come out, and we've seen the fights going on online and all that other crap, even if the governors come out and say, we're opening up the states, nothing is ever going to be the same ever again. And we need to be mentally prepared for that. And our extroverts out there, if you guys come up with ways of dealing, like my personal experience, the way I'm dealing with being an extrovert and not having my tour groups every single night, my huge group gatherings of all of our people here in the Crescent City Halo, is start doing it through here. Not the same thing, but hey, at least I can see somebody else's face and talk to somebody, and I don't feel like the walls are closing in as bad as they normally would. It also helps that I've got my partner in crime, my soulmate, the lovely Miss Evie, who is an introvert. Most people wouldn't believe that, but she is. And she is doing her best to try and help take care of my mental health and pushing me to do things to keep me from going completely and totally batshit crazy. So, that is your public service announcement for today, number one. Remember, as I always say, help your friends out to keep fighting the good fight. All right, y'all. So today, I wanted to hit on Amisi, welcome. Amber, welcome, guys. Much love. We talk about the French Quarter, and we a lot of times forget that not everybody knows what the hell is the French Quarter. You know, people talk about it, you hear it in conversations, but what is the quarter? What is this thing we're talking about? And why does it play into so much of the paranormal stories that we talk about here in New Orleans? Now, the French Quarter, or the Vieux Carré, which means actually center square, main square in French, is a 13 block by 7 or 9 block, depending on who you talk to, square block area in the heart of New Orleans, for a grand total of 78 square blocks. Now, the French Quarter itself is the largest National Historical Monument in the United States. All right? All 78 blocks is one huge historical monument. And what does that mean? Now, if you're fortunate enough to own or get a house and you live in the quarter, that means you get to deal with the Vieux Carré Commission, which is in charge of keeping those historical buildings historical. Now, you'll hear arguments back and forth over the Vieux Carré Commission. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's like an HOA on steroids. But let me put in my little personal point of view for just half a second. Keeping in mind, y'all, I'm a Galveston kid. Born and raised south of Houston in the Galveston area. And I wish that we had had something in Galveston, like the Vieux Carré Commission, to protect the historical houses and the historical buildings there in Galveston. It would have saved us from having huge swaths of Galveston wiped out and turned into strip malls. Okay? So it does have its good sides. And I'm sure there's some bad sides too. You can't do anything in the French Quarter without getting a huge amount of red tape to go through. Say you want to paint a door. You get to go through 6 months of paperwork, and there's only 5 different shades of color you're allowed to keep the historical value of that thing that is the French Quarter. So you have to weigh it out on being a quarter rat, whether it's good or bad. Now, the quarter itself, keeping in mind when New Orleans was founded, when Bienville and his crew came over and were going to set up the colony that would someday grow into what we know of as New Orleans, they picked the area that the French Quarter sits in for a couple of reasons. One, at the time, it was a little bit higher area. Technically, when you're in the quarter, at the front side of the quarter, you're about a foot, maybe a little less than a foot, technically, above sea level. Now, after Katrina, that changed. Keeping in mind, y'all, you're in a swamp. The ground underneath us is moving constantly. And after Katrina, the entire quarter sank 4 inches due to subsidence. So they had put the quarter where the quarter is to try and help from flooding. And for almost 300 years, it worked. Last summer, I believe we have flooded the quarter at least 3 times during summer thunderstorms just because of how much it sank and them messing with stuff up underneath the roads. Now, when Bienville and his scouts came over originally, this was a prevalent Native American area. Now, as we've talked about in other episodes, Governor Nichols, sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Governor Nichols, one of our roads that runs right through the quarter, Governor Nichols is where the La Lorraine Mansion sits. It's where Verde Mart is located. Now, Governor Nichols, the road itself, was the original pathway that led from the Mississippi River walking to where most of the Native American villages were located. It was the main walking path and trading path. So they just paved it out and made a road out of it, and it is today Governor Nichols. Now, when they came here, they made friends with one of the Native American tribes that was here in the area, and there was multiples, and not all of them were friendly. In fact, most weren't. Now, they were told when they came in scoping out a location for the proposed colony that they shouldn't put the colony there because that area was known as Balboncha, and in the tongue means a place of many tribes or many tongues. Now, Balboncha, as we've talked about, is the spirit of the city. Now, being good Europeans, they didn't listen and plopped a colony right down in the middle of it. But I'm a huge proponent, as well as a lot of us here, that Balboncha and the spirit of the city and what the natives were talking about is a huge reason why there is so much paranormal activity in this area. There's a spirit here. You can feel it when you're here. Any of you guys that have gotten a chance to come here and visit New Orleans will tell you can feel it. If you come into the quarter and you stop for just a couple minutes and you just pay attention to the energy around you, you'll feel it. Hell, there's been nights you can almost feel her breathing while you're there. Don't take my word on it, up to you. I'm just saying, we felt it. It's a strange feeling. She can also have moods. There was one event in the French Quarter in dealing with Balboncha. Keep in mind, y'all, Evie and I know our way around that quarter with our eyes closed. We're in there every single day and night. We work there. That is our hood. And there was a night we came in, parked, we were walking into the quarter, and within a block and a half into the quarter, didn't know where the hell we were. Didn't understand how we got where we were at. We shouldn't have been in the point we were, not by the way we had walked. And we were confused. We were lost, which was weird. And so Evie and I walked a little bit farther, and we had the overwhelming sense of, you don't need to be here. So, being locals, we were like, gotcha, later, deuces, and we took off. A couple hours later, we had a mass shooting on Bourbon Street where 9 people were shot and wounded. So, if you pay attention to the city, she will let you know. And somebody just posted up, and that's a very good point. I've come to figure there's about 3 types of people that come to the French Quarter, all right? First ones are the people that come here. She sinks her claws into you. You fall in love with the city, and you will do everything in your power to come back and visit. That's why we get people who visit here 9, 10, 20 times. Or find yourself moving in, and all of a sudden you're living here. Hi. Second are the people who come into town. They love the city, but they can only be here for about a week, 6 days or so, and then they got to go. It just gets to them. They've got to leave. But they do want to come back, but they just can't. They can't stay here. And the third, had a member of my crew who was this way. They just can't take the energy here. They can't take the city. They can't take what is New Orleans, and they can't get out of here fast enough. It drives them crazy. And the other thing that we've noticed as well is you listen to stories as you talk to people in the city and those that come to visit or leave. If the city of New Orleans does not want you here, and you try and fight it, you try and lock your claws into the ground and no, I'm not going to leave, she'll try and kill your ass. She will get her point across that you don't need to be here. Had a very, very good friend of ours that he forced it, and he stayed for just under a year. And his good luck and his fortune started to dive off very, very rapidly, to the point those of us that were friends with him were like, dude, you need to go, or we're going to end up putting you in a body bag. So it can get that bad. This city is alive. Now, because of Bulbanch, because of that energy, we believe that that is one of the feeding forces into the amount of paranormal activity that goes on here in the city. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't realize or don't know historically, you have Canal, which is our main separating street. One, it is the widest main street in the continental United States. Separates the French Quarter from the CBD, the Central Business District, and just on the other side of that is the Garden District, which back around 1803, when the Louisiana Purchase happened and the Americans started moving in, the Americans moved into the Garden District, into Uptown. That was the American sector. The French and the Spanish were in the quarter. Now, we have what's called the neutral ground, and we talked about that just a little bit in some of our other episodes. You guys call them medians. It's the center area with the grass on it, separates streets. Here we call that the neutral ground. And the reason it's called the neutral ground is that used to be the place where the French and Spanish and the Americans would meet in the middle to do commerce, to talk out issues, to talk out problems. Thus, the neutral ground. Now, and I just completely derailed. This is like doing a tour. Completely derailed on what I was getting ready to talk about. Now, jumping back onto that subject. Sorry, y'all. Lockdown's starting to get to me, too. So, yea, verily, it is called the French Quarter, but if you walk around, all of the architecture, most of the architecture you're going to see is of Spanish design. Keeping in mind, we have burned our city down twice. First in 1788, which is also known as the Good Friday Fire, and then again in 1794. If you want to see a dramatic interpretation of the fire of 1788, watch Interview with a Vampire. You can watch the city burn in the background. Now, that first fire is called the Good Friday Fire because the fire started after midnight at a house just about 2 blocks down on Charters from the cathedral. Started just after midnight. It was Good Friday. A gentleman by the name of Nunez was getting ready to celebrate Good Friday as a good Catholic. And so he had lit candles in his house for Good Friday celebrations. Well, at the time, we had gale force winds coming off the Mississippi. And being pre the age of air conditioning, he had all of his windows open to get a nice breeze coming through. And unfortunately, as that breeze blew through, curtains went across the candles. Candles lit off, or those curtains lit off. Well, Mr. Nunez and one of his servants ran the 2 blocks down to the cathedral to inform the monks that there was an emergency in the city. Unfortunately, it was after midnight on Good Friday, and they'd already taken a vow of silence. On top of that, all of the bells in the city had been wrapped in burlap bags to keep them from accidentally making noise in the wind on Good Friday. So the fire blew through the city without a whole bunch of warning being given to people. So most of those individuals, unfortunately, died in their beds. Now, it's one of the things I talk about on my tours is keep in mind that fire burned at over 1,000 degrees for at least 3 days. So by the time they were finally able to make their way back into the quarter to fight their way in, most of those victims would have been cremated. So what they did is they took the human remains, mixed them in with the building remains, flattened that out, built a brand new quarter right on top of it. So basically, while you're here visiting with us and you're walking around the French Quarter, you're basically walking around in one of the country's largest unconsecrated and unnamed graveyards. Another reason we have such a huge amount of paranormal activity here in the city. Now, interesting note, 1794, the second fire started in the exact same building on the back side, on the Royal Street side of the building, with two young boys playing with matches and candles. Hey, honey, grab the puppy.
Come here, Ryder.
Hellhound. Say hi to everybody, buddy. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. No, you cannot eat our neighbors. You even got that bottom jaw going. Stop, it's okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Had to stop my dog from eating our upstairs neighbor. Bad form, Ryder, bad form. So the fire started on the back side of the very same exact building in 1794 by two kids playing with matches and candles, and lit the second fire off of 1794, burning down another 212 buildings here in the city of New Orleans. So, when you walk through the French Quarter, it should technically be called the Spanish Quarter because of the style of architecture. All the bricks, the wrought iron is Spanish architecture, and that's what the Spanish put into place to try and deal with the fire issue. Now, there are 3 buildings that survived both of the fires of 1788 and then again 1794, and that would be Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop, the Ursuline Convent, and Madame John's Legacy. So if you walk around in the quarter, you see in one of those 3 buildings, you can see what the architecture in New Orleans looked like originally during French occupation. So guys, I just wanted to give you a little overarching history lesson on what is the French Quarter. So those of you who have not had the chance to come visit with us here in the city of New Orleans, and I'm going to hold you guys to come visit with us as soon as we get through the pandemic, so you kind of understand what we're talking about in all of these stories that we're talking about, because a good portion of the stories that we talk about in the Demon's Tea Room are around and centralized in the French Quarter itself. Now, a little teasers for what's going to be coming up in the next couple of days on the Demon's Tea Room. I'm going to dive off into, and if Myra is around, you should probably hear her squee from Homa. We're going to jump into dead hookers. Woo! We're going to get off into some of the lore and legends and the paranormal activity that goes around our extensive history of prostitution here in the city of New Orleans, and it's a really interesting subject matter. Also going to dive off in the next week into some of the ghost stories around St. Louis Cathedral and some of the monks and those stories of those, Pierre Antoine and Pierre Dagobah, who haunt St. Louis Cathedral. So, give you guys just a little teaser of what you can look forward to on the Demon's Tea Room. And as I've said before, guys, I am going down. I'm seeing what you guys are putting in, what you want to hear about. And, yep, Amisi, we're going to be talking about Bridget Fury and Bricktop. You get extra brownie points for that because you did your research. And you're friends with Mad Dog, so that's her gig. I have been following the list, So I've got them written down. We will be talking, and I'm still diving off into doing the research on those subjects. So don't hate me. I am seeing it, and they will be coming up. So keep those ideas coming to me, because they're helping me out a lot. Let's see, what do we got left? Our second announcement, public service announcement, and it's just a small one, guys. It's a message from me to you guys. Guys, don't lose hope. I know it's getting dark. It's gonna get darker. We're sliding off farther into this. The anxiety levels are starting to crank. The fear is there. Plus, we're locked in. The cabin fever is starting to kick. Most of us now know people who have gotten sick and or passed away. Guys, we will get through this. We will come out the other side of it. And hopefully, we will be stronger and smarter on the other side. But don't lose hope. Hope is everything. And remember, in the dark recesses of the night, when things seem the darkest, there is a light on the other side. And it's like I've always liked to say, the only way to get through the dawn in the darkest time is to keep walking and keep on putting one foot in front of the others. Never give up fighting the good fight. And always remember, we're all here. All of us in here are there to help you walk through it, so you're never walking alone. So, keep fighting the good fight, and we will get through this. So just a little message from me to you guys here in the Demons Tea Room. Now, other than that, our update here in the city. As of our numbers just a couple of minutes ago, we are at 5,769 confirmed cases, with 287 deaths dealing with the coronavirus. Keeping in mind, in those numbers, we still haven't done what New York has. They still haven't added our numbers of people who have unfortunately passed away who did not already have a positive test, so that number will skyrocket. So officially, that's 51 new cases since yesterday, with 11 deaths since yesterday. So, bringing you the truth, no matter how bad it hurts. Now, an update too, as of yesterday, Mayor Cantrell has canceled all large festivals and gatherings till 2021. Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest, all of that canceled until 2021. Now, somebody did post up a question on Facebook. What does that mean for Endless Nights and the vampire balls around Halloween? We don't know yet. I'm going to be doing some research into that. I'm going to be contacting City Hall down the road a little bit to see what that is going to do and going to affect as far as Endless Night and our vampire balls. I will also be talking with Sebastian and figuring all that out. So, nobody knows yet. That's where we're at. That's the straightest story, and the straightest line I can give you is we don't know. This is still going. As the Crescent City Halo, we are going to continue to keep planning and keep putting things into plans for as if Endless Nights is going to go. So, just keep fluid, guys. We'll keep posting as we know things, as things change here in the city. So, other than that, y'all, my brother Josh is here. Big old looking. As I said before, leather is available. I'm currently working on masks. We have come up with a new way to do inserts into the mask that are as close to an N95 mask as you can get. They do not have the protective covering that the N95 masks have, but it is the same exact material that 3M uses for their filters as well as the insides of an N95 mask. We have gotten our hands on it, and I will be using that to make some of the new inserts for the masks, so they are as close as we can get to medical grade masks without taking away the medical grade mask that our frontline troops need to fight this nasty ass virus. So if you want to talk to me about masks, PM me. We can give you all the information on the custom mask. My orders that I have right now are getting ready to be finished and go out. We got all the supplies in for the new head harnesses and the new strapping system that we developed. If anybody wants to talk any other leather, shots fired, any other leather equipment, just shoot me a message and we'll talk and we'll work things out. Other than that, as always, y'all, Scooby Snacks are always helpful. Tips and donations help us out here at the Demons Tea Room immensely. If you find it in your heart and your ability to be able to help out the Tea Room, if you look above, there are some links in the area above showing. They're also listed on my page. Those are helping us out immensely in this time. And for you guys that have already donated to us, I can't tell you how much that means to us. You are helping to keep us alive and going. Other than that, y'all, we will be posting these up on YouTube. One of the biggest things you can do to help out the Demons Tea Room is pack the planet and push the signal. They can't stop the signal, all right? Boost that signal. Give us a thumbs up on the Facebook pages if you like what we're doing. On our YouTube page, subscribe to us, hit that like button, and also hit the bell icon so that you get an alert anytime we post up new content. Other than that, y'all, guys, be good to each other out there. Take care of your mental health. Stay healthy, stay safe, and know that we are out here. If you need to talk in the dark recesses of the night, shoot up a flare, send out a message. We're here, we're listening, and we're walking through this shit show together. All right? And it's the only way we're going to get to the other side is together. So, for all of my fam out there, huge honor, loyalty, and respect to all of you guys out there around the country and around the world even. We got some of our fam from France and Italy watching. Guys, even all the way across the pond, we're still here, and we're still here for you. So be good to each other. Mad love and respect. And as always, see you guys day after tomorrow. Same demon time, same demon channel, here in the Demons Tea Room. Not your grandmother's cup of tea. So till then, much love and respect. See you on the flip side. Peace out, y'all.